the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 154 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Beckson. Apologies, there's been a bit of a gap here between the podcasts here, guys. I was traveling in Europe, but anyway, I'll try and make up for it this month and get a couple more kind of in there because I know quite a few of you like to listen to this podcast. So trying to just kind of get a release date here every single Thursday for you, usually at kind of 12 a.m. Thursday it'll come on. So I think anybody that's looking forward to a weekend and looking for something to do can listen to me over the weekend. So it's very odd sometimes when I actually get to chat with you guys that you actually know a lot more about me, and it's kind of a little bit weird sometimes, although I feel like I really, really know you. But again, guys, anyone that wants to chat with us about investing, I'm getting a lot of clients actually that purchase something or are in the due diligence process and are kind of contacting me for help. Whereas I'm like, guys, if you'd have contacted me before you'd started the whole process, like I could have guided you through this whole thing and saved you a bunch of time and also money as well. So, I mean, looking to do anything in Costa Rica, no matter what it is, guys, and just want guidance. We have about 27 projects going on in Costa Rica at the moment, everything from, smaller homes to land development to commercial projects to relocation. We got a bunch of clients that are actually relocating here, looking for our help. Any businesses that you're looking to do, just let me know. I'm happy to chat with anyone. You can email us info@investingcostarica.com, info@investingcostarica.com. I usually respond. I usually reply to you. Again, quite a few people here in the office, but I like to personally do it as I'm a sucker for helping people, as I say. But anyway, today we're going to be talking to Carlos Castillo from Confia Insurance Brokers. So we've got quite a few of you guys asking about insurance here, everything from home insurance to life insurance to car insurance. So I thought I'd get Carlos on here. He's been my insurance broker for about 15 years, I think. I have my home insurance, my life insurance, my car insurance, my health insurance through these guys. I like them because they go out to, I can't remember how many companies it is, 10, 15 different companies for quotes, and just really help me get the pros and cons. They're very responsive, speak English. So it's always good, again, to have good insurance. And also, as you'll see here, it also covers non-expats here, people that don't have residency here as well. So we're going to be talking to him about frequently asked questions, getting an idea of premiums, what's covered, what's not. So yeah. But anyway, let's get straight into the podcast, guys. Good morning, Carlos. How are you doing?
Good morning, Richard. How are you?
Very, very good. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, Carlos, to join us here on the podcast and discuss insurance in Costa Rica.
Fantastic, Richard. I'm looking forward.
Awesome. I'd said in the introduction that you guys are not an insurer. If I'm correct, you guys are kind of like a broker, an insurance broker. Is that what you would call yourselves?
Exactly. Yeah, we are an insurance broker. We are located in San Jose, Escazú, and we represent all the insurance companies in Costa Rica as no additional cost for the clients.
Okay. So, I mean, basically, if anyone's looking for an insurance quote, whether that be car, life, health insurance, home insurance, you can basically go out to multiple different companies, get quotes back, and kind of help the client choose the right one for them.
Exactly. That's exactly what we do. We'll get quotes. We'll present comparative charts to the client, and we let them know, or we advise them of what would be the best option for the particular situation. And we do any insurance from cars, boats, homes, buildings, travel insurance, health, life. We do absolutely everything.
Fantastic. Well, I must say that, Carlos, you've been my insurance guy for probably about 15 years. So I've always been very happy with your service. But again, someone had asked us to cover insurance on the podcast, so I thought that I'd bring it up. But Carlos, my first question for you is that, economies are in, different countries, different economies, things are a little bit stagnant in the US, a little bit stagnant in Europe. I think Germany's in recession, but from your side, like people requesting insurance, are you seeing generally, is it better than last year? Is it the same? Would you say you're on an upward trend? Is it pretty stable? I mean, what are you seeing in the insurance industry?
Yeah, in Costa Rica, the market is growing. Yeah, it's growing a little bit less than last year. But that's mainly because of the exchange rate. As the colon has appreciated. So when we measure the total premiums in US dollars, the market is growing, but less than in the past. but we're growing around 8%, which is good. Yeah. In the past, we have grown between 12 and 15%, the market as a whole.
Wow, but I mean, still 8%. I'll take that any day of the week, and 8%.
Oh, yeah,
it's not negative, so it's good.
No,
it's
not. No, the market is growing. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I think the main question a lot of people looking to relocate or living here in Costa Rica is like, do they need residency to get health insurance in Costa Rica, or is there a way in order to get health insurance here while living here? You know, because some people are like perpetual tourists where they come for 90 days, leave and go back, you know, and there are other people that are applying for residency and don't have it. I mean, what should they know about their legal status in Costa Rica and what impact that has on health insurance?
All right, that's a good question. Yeah, there's travel insurance. I mean, for those that are visiting Costa Rica for 90 days, for example, I mean, we have insurance only for that period of time, and they don't need to be a resident. But for those who are planning to live in Costa Rica, there are options to get insured, to get a health insurance without being resident. There are options in the market. Yeah. Okay. Of course, if when they get the residency, there will be more options, right? But in the meantime, there is a way to insure them.
So that, I mean, you know, even if I was, if I'm in the process of getting residency, or I'm on this, you know, I've been living here for years and don't have residency, and I leave every 90 days and come back or whatever, there are still options for health insurance available to me here in Costa Rica.
Exactly. There are options. Correct.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're not a resident, I mean, you're probably not paying into Caja, so you can't use the public, you know, hospitals here. So you need access to private hospitals.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great to be insured because then you have access to all the private hospitals.
Yeah. I mean, how does insurance work here? I mean, what are the main questions that people ask, or the things that they should know?
Okay, well, they want to know about the coverage. I mean, usually they like to have access to all the hospitals in Costa Rica. The insurance company have their own medical networks, but they can use the doctors inside the network, but they could also go to any other doctor, and they will get the payments by reimbursement. And expats like to have international coverage. They want to have the possibility to go to their own country and have a surgery, for example. So they like to have the international coverage. So that is possible. Okay.
So I mean, basically, you know, they can get insurance here. They can go and visit any doctor that they want. It's reimbursed. Is it usually like a 20% deductible or 30% deductible? I mean, what typically is the deductible, if you don't mind me asking, Carlos?
Yeah, that's the co-insurance. Yeah, typically it's 20%, the co-insurance, but there are also options with 100% coverage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more expensive when they're 100% coverage, right?
Exactly. Correct.
But I mean, even the 20% coverage is not bad here. I mean, you know, I typically have found, and again, you know, I'm just going to compare North America mainly in the US, that like stuff usually is about 20 to 25% the cost, meaning that if an operation's 100,000 in the US, maybe it's about 25 down here or 20,000 here.
Correct. Here, the cost is lower, and insurance policies, they has a benefit or a clause called stop loss, which is the maximum out of pocket. Okay. So that's usually, you know, for international coverage, usually is $5,000. Okay. So an insurer wouldn't be paying more than that.
Well, that's pretty good. So I mean, if I had insurance and I needed something, the max I would ever pay is $5,000, and everything beyond that, the insurance company covers.
Exactly.
Wow. Exactly. Who are the big insurers in Costa Rica, Carlos?
Okay. We were on a state monopoly for 84 years, only with one insurance company called INS. So they are the largest. They still have 70% of the market, and that's because some of the policies they are alone yet. They're in a monopoly yet, like workers' compensation, for example, and they insure all the assets that belong to the state. So I mean, that's a big proportion of the market share. But in terms of health insurance, Pan American Life has 53% of the market.
Wow.
The second is INS. And there are other carriers such as ASA, Mafre, Adisa, VMI, competing with, you know, market shares below 10%.
Why do you think Pan American has such a large percentage ownership of or it controls 53% of the market?
All right, well, that's a great question. Yeah, the thing is, before the market opens to competition in 2008, they already were here. They were selling offshore insurance. They were insuring most of the multinationals, mainly directly from Panama. So when the market opens, they already had a large portfolio. And INS was not that focused on health insurance, was not. And it took them many years to have a good product and be able to compete against Pan American. And Pan American is focused only on health insurance. I mean, they're so good.
Yeah.
So they just keep growing and growing, and they have 53% now of the market. Wow. Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm part of that 53%. So I use Pan American just because they've been great. I've had INS before, I've had ASA, I've had Pan American. I really like Pan American.
Yeah, Pan American is great. Yeah, Pan American is good. It's a good option.
Exactly, but we're not being paid by Pan American, just so you guys are aware. I mean, how much are people looking to pay for health insurance? I mean, if they're two adults, say in their 50s here, I mean, they want international insurance, roughly how much do you think their annual premium is going to be?
Okay, usually most of the people want to insure themselves and their spouse and their children, right? Yep. The family, so let's say a roughly premium for an entire family, but all depends in the coverage and the amount insured.
Sure.
Will be around $5,000 per year,
which is not bad at all.
Yeah, for an entire family.
Yeah. I think I paid roughly around about that 4,000 or 5,000.
Yeah, of course, there are options with higher deductibles. Like deductible like $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000. Then the premiums are lower. Some people like to insure only for big issues, and then they can be insured with high deductibles as well.
So Carlos, just say that I'm a resident here in Costa Rica. Okay, I'm a recent resident. I'm paying into the CAJA, there's a security system here, so I have access to the public. What would I look at getting private health insurance? Like, what are some of the benefits that people should be aware of?
Well, with a private insurance, you can access to cover any outpatient treatment, such as doctor's visit, prescribed medications, emergencies, laboratories and X-rays, ambulance, any hospitalization, any grave illness. Maternity is also covered. Preventive medicines such as medical checkups, optical checkups. These are part of the coverages. Yeah. So you are fully covered in case of illness and emergency.
Why? I mean, but again, if I use the Social Security system here, if I use CAJA, I mean, I can go in and see a doctor. I can get medicines and stuff. So why do people get private medical insurance here? Because I mean, the CAJA is pretty good, right?
Yeah, the CAJA is pretty good, but sometimes they are so busy, and sometimes you have to be lucky to get an appointment, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll get an appointment, but for next year.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I mean, there's the CAJA. They are so busy with so many customers. So sometimes you don't get the appointment.
Yeah.
And with a private insurance, you get your appointment right away in the best hospitals with the best service. So the most important thing in your life is yourself.
Your health.
Right? It's your life. It's your health. Exactly. So life and health insurance should be the first.
Yeah. I mean, let's just quickly jump on life insurance as well, because life insurance is, I mean, I went through the process of getting life insurance, and there were different things where there was one where it was kind of like an annuity where you were paying a certain amount in and saving it. But I decided to just go with the one where, I was paying a certain amount per month. I think I end up paying, I pay about $170 a month for like $1 million of life insurance. I mean, is life insurance open to non-residents or not?
Yeah, it's open to non-residents, correct. Yeah, life insurance, it's basically it's a coverage that gives protection to your family, right? In case the insurer dies, the family would get some money, to help them to cover the expenses. So the amount insured depends on anybody. I mean, it could be any amount. And there are three ways. One in which you set a term of coverage that you want, let's say 10 years, 15, 20, or 30 years, you want to protect your family until your kids have grown up or until they are working. Yep. That's one way. Then you set up, you buy a contract for, let's say, 20 years, and you have a fixed premium for that 20 years. So even though you are getting older, you keep paying the same premium for those 20 years. That's one option. The other option is that you have a life term policy, and if you are committed with your payments during 20 years, during the 20 consecutive years, and you don't miss any payment, at the end you will get a reimbursement of all you have paid, but no interest, just the principal. This policy, the cost is a little bit higher than the first one, but you have the option to get all the money back, of course, if you don't die, right? You get all the principal. And there's a third option in which your premium has a percentage that goes to a saving plan. So your monthly premium, one portion pays the life coverage, and the other portion goes to a savings plan. So in the future, you're allowed to withdraw that savings that you have there in the plan, or you can wait until the end to get the full amount plus the interest.
Okay, awesome. And I take it you guys also, I mean, I keep asking the same question here, but a lot of people don't have residency or in the process of getting residency. You guys also do car insurance as well for people that don't have residency.
Yeah. Okay. We do absolutely any kind of insurance. We do cars, golf carts,
boats,
ATVs, anything. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Now, a lot of people have second homes here in Costa Rica, and I think this is where a lot of the questions that I get usually come from, is the second homes. Like, should they get home insurance? What type of home insurance is available? And, what should they understand about home insurance here?
Yeah. Now, of course, it's good to have a home insurance, and it gives protection against earthquake, floods, fire, any damage that the property may have. So it's important to be insured. That insurance is very cheap, so it's good to have it. Depends on the value of the property. The amount insured should be based on the reconstruction value, right? Because sometimes when you buy a property, you pay an amount because it has a nice ocean view, it has a great location. But when you insure it, the insurance don't take that into account. Don't take into account the view, the location. It takes the reconstruction value. So you have to insure at the reconstruction value. If something happened, what is the amount to reconstruct your home, right?
Yeah.
There are two ways. One, it's a home insurance, with very low deductibles, and another is all risk insurance with little higher deductibles and lower premium. Another coverage that many expats like to get is the liabilities. I mean, if something happened to a third party,
if they were renting it. So if it was a vacation rental, you were renting it, you could. Okay.
Exactly. Some of them rent the property. Exactly. So if something happened to third parties, they are covered. So they're also a liability coverage that the expats can buy.
I mean, I think it's very affordable. I mean, I can't remember. I think my home is insured for like 350,000. I think I end up paying about $400 or $500 a year for it. And again, I'm just insuring it against earthquakes and, major disasters, not the contents within it. But I mean, how much would somebody, typically I think a vacation rental here is probably going to be, say, $500,000. How much do you think that they'd roughly be paying if they also wanted liability insurance? Give or take, would you say, Carlos?
Yeah, let's say a home of $1 million, for example.
Okay.
A home for $1 million. I mean, they will be paying roughly $1,600 per annum with the full coverage. And in liability will be around. Depends on the size of the lot of the property, because that gives liability gives protection not just the property itself, but the size of the lot. But it'll be around $500 per year.
Okay. So I mean, for $1 million property, $2,100 per year gives you liability insurance. And does that amount include the contents or not?
I mean, you could insure the contents if you like.
Yep.
But then you have to say, okay, 1 million is the value of my property.
Yeah.
And what is the value of your contents?
Okay.
But the contents could be insured under the same policy and at the same rate.
Okay.
So let's say if you have $100,000 in contents, for example, then you will be paying $160 per year for to insure the contents.
Yeah. Should people increase the value by 20%? Because again, it's always the case that you never get the full amount from the insurer, right? Meaning, if it's $1 million that you're insured for, sometimes they'll give you $800,000. They don't give you the million, or is that just a myth?
Well, the insurance company will be paying the reconstruction value. So if something happens, the insurance company will be sending an appraisal.
Okay.
And we'll value the loss at the reconstruction value, right? So you could be overinsured. I mean, if you have $1 million property of reconstruction value and you can insure it for $2 million, but if something happens, you will be paid only $1 million because it's the reconstruction value. So you were overinsured. Yeah. And if you are underinsured, means that you insure your property at a lower value. Let's say you insured it for $500,000. Then if something happened, the insurance company will be paying 50% less because you insured it at a lower value.
But you get the whole $500,000 if it was said to be $500,000.
Oh yeah. If it was said to, if the reconstruction value was $500 and you insured it for $500,000, you will get that amount less the deductible.
Fantastic. Carlos, anything else that you think that anyone listening should understand about insurance in Costa Rica? Any frequently asked questions that come up that maybe we haven't covered?
Yeah, I think you have covered everything. I mean, it's very easy to get insured in Costa Rica. It's good to have information, to get quotes, to get information of the general conditions. I mean, in insurance, you are buying a contract, so it's important to have that contract, to know the coverages and the exclusions.
Yep.
So we usually send our customers that contract in Spanish and in English, so they know what they're buying. So it's important to be well informed.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm biased just because I've used you guys for many years. I love to use you because I can speak to you in English. You have a great team. I can send you emails. You respond, usually the same day, if not, within an hour. You personally, Carlos, were a friend, of course. So, I'm very biased, but I think once here in Costa Rica is that you've spent enough time here, is that you just understand is that when you have someone that's great at what they do, you keep them in your pocket, like keep them there constantly, because again, finding great people, great service here, is not always as easy as it sounds. And especially in the world of insurance, I know that.
Exactly.
Well, Carlos, my last question for you, which I love to ask everyone. If you inherited $500,000, okay, but you had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you do with it and why?
In Costa Rica, well, real estate is always a good option. It's secure and over the long term, it appreciates. So I recommend
Whereabouts? Where would you do? Like today, if you had $500,000 and you had to invest in real estate, where would you put it in Costa Rica? What would you buy and where?
Well, at this moment, I think the beaches are a good place to invest. Yeah, I think the beaches are, the prices are growing. So I'll go to and invest in the beaches. Also, another option is investing in bond certificates, government bond certificates. You'll get a good interest payment.
How much is the interest?
Well, there's Costa Rican external debt. They're paying between 6.5% and 7% with no tax on interest. So that's another option, right? Yeah, it's pretty good. So that's another option.
Yeah, I like it. Is there a particular beach town that you would invest in, Carlos? Anyone that you particularly like, or you think that in the long term would be good?
Well, in my opinion, Guanacaste is a good area to be. Guanacaste, of course, and all the area of Quepos, Herradura, this area I think is great because it's very close to San Jose, and it's a very demanded area. If you buy a property, it's easy to rent it. I mean, as you know, there are many pages such as Airbnb, VRBO that you can keep renting and get some cash flow. So yeah, I'll go for real estate or a balance. Investing in real estate and in government bonds.
You're the first person after 154 episodes that's ever said bonds, and I like it. I like bond is a safe investment.
Absolutely.
Into the government.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have my portfolio in bonds. Yeah, I have. Invest in Costa Rican bonds, Dominican Republic, and Colombian bonds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm doing very well in the portfolio.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Well, Carlos, I really appreciate your time coming on the podcast. Anyone that wants to basically contact Carlos and Confia, I'll put all of their contact details in the description. Again, they speak English. They'll be able to give you quotes from multiple different companies. But really appreciate you coming on the podcast, Carlos, and chatting with me.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity, Richard. I will be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed that podcast there with Carlos, guys. I think as you can see here, there's a wide variety of insurance available here. It sometimes is a little bit more affordable. You don't need to have residency in order to get this. You should have insurance here in Costa Rica, guys, especially if you're not a resident and covered by Social Security, just in case, anything untoward would happen. And again, it's very, very affordable. Even seeing a doctor here usually costs about $100. Seeing a dentist costs about $100 anyway. So, I think it's just more of a lot of people have insurance just in case the worst happens. But all of Carlos's contact details are in the description down below. You can also contact us as well. We've helped quite a few clients get through the insurance process as well. info@investingcostarica.com. That's investing, INVESTING, Costa Rica.com. But anyway, guys, if you've enjoyed the podcast, feel free to give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, pass the pod, as I like to say, share it with people. It's amazing how many people that I ask, when they've contacted us, because quite a few of you reach out, like, how did you hear about it? It was my friend that, found it, or I found it on Facebook, or I was on, I was on Spotify or Apple and typed in Costa Rica and you guys came up. And I'm so thankful, that we found you guys, because it's a wide variety of information that you guys get out there. So, but anyway, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. Until the next one, we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.